Thank you. Ba, 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 ba. Oh, help me. Help me. Oy. Hello, I'm here. This is not, however, my original stream. Help me. Am I loud? I'm sorry. This is not my original stream. I could not get the other one to work for some reason. So we're here and this is what we're doing. So I have to reset my mind because I am throwed off. Do you hear me? I'm throwed off. So I'm going to take a few seconds to put this stream link out so that the 14, let's be real, it was 3. The 3 people that care about my videos will be able to know that this is where I'm at. Let's see, can I share it? We'll get started in a second. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Can I share it, Lord? Copy video link. All right. Give me a second and we will get started. Because did today go like I thought? Absolutely. Absolutely not. Do any days go as I think they should? No, they do not. Also, live streaming is weird. And also, it's weird when you have to do it by yourself. So, when you don't have a production team or assistant, you must wear all the hats. Which, honestly, that is just parenthood. Sometimes you have to wear multiple caps to get the job done. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's see. Let's see here. Does it tell you that I'm live? Does it? Does it not? I am live. Look at us. Look at us. Share. Let's link and text it to my family because they be watching my streams. Hey, it's me again. Had to start a different live stream. Here's the link with an A. Link. Okay. If you're going to watch this ever in your life, my name is Ari, and I don't think I'm middle-aged yet, but I'm not in my 20s. Is that a thing? I don't know. So I don't know if you can see me because the screen is dark. Help. Send help. There we go. I am a mom. I'm a wife. And most importantly, I love the Lord. And that sounds so wild just because growing up in church, let me tell y'all, when people said they love the Lord, it was just like, yes, we know. But I'm that girl now. So yes, I do love the Lord. And in this stream today, we're going to talk a little bit more about what I shared last week, but we're kind of going to zoom in on the topic in particular of wisdom and discipleship, mainly wisdom. And as I like to do in a lot of my conversations, I just like to preface it by saying, if you are not ready for different, if you're not ready to go deeper, night girl, later. This is not the stream for you. If you are not looking, if you're not like thirsty for the Lord, this is not the stream for you. And that's okay. If you want to stick around, that's fine too. Now, if you are ready for different, you are ready for deeper, and you're ready to move off the milk into the solids, and I'm not even saying we got to be like full on ribeye steak right now. We could just a nice, crisp, but tender broccoli. Okay, we can do that. This is what we're here for. Let's go. Oh, that's okay. What's going on? Oh, okay. I should have told you to get the pajamas. That does not surprise me. Okay, hurry, please. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're talking about wisdom today. Let's define what wisdom is. Wisdom is the ability to use knowledge and experience. And I know we probably all heard about wisdom throughout our lifetime, make decisions based off of wisdom, not experience. But wisdom is a verb, I think. I don't know. It sounds like this definition is describing it as a verb, like the ability to use knowledge and experience. So I don't know if it's a verb. We'll look it up later. How do you know you need wisdom? Which is an important thing. You've never been where you are before. You have no prior knowledge about it. You might have heard about it. You might have heard somebody talk about it, but you don't know nothing about it. And maybe you're trying to make, or I should say, or you're trying to make something happen in your life and you just you're not doing it well, or it's not taking off, or it's not lifting up off the ground. You can't get it to start. This is when you know you need wisdom. You need help. You need words and maybe action from people who have been here before and have done it. Could you please close that door for Mama? I don't like that noise. All the way for me. Oh, okay. Thank you. There's like a significant change when that door is closed. Let me tell y'all something. I don't know why I decided to do this during bedtime, but I did. And we might be moving to 9 o'clock. I'm not going to lie to y'all, because at least by then, most of my children would be in pajamas in bed. So pray for my husband as he does this solo dolo. Okay. So what I have come across in what is that noise? My dog is eating his dinner. Yes, I'm talking about you. Okay. This is so lovely. Okay. Anyway, in my time walking with the Lord, specifically in the scenario that I talked about last stream or last video, I talked about how I got pregnant when I was 21, unmarried, a supposed believer and Christian in the Lord. And what I have learned from that scenario and since then is that in general, if you're looking for wisdom, there are probably three things that you should consider. And I'm going to call them 3Fs. Shout out to PJ, who has acronyms for many things. But yeah, we're going to call them the 3Fs. The first thing that you should consider when you are seeking out wisdom or you are receiving wisdom from someone is if they fear the Lord. Now, you can get practical advice from someone, but that doesn't necessarily mean that practical advice is good advice. Now, if you're looking for advice in the context of Christ, in the context of being a follower of Jesus, in the context of living with the Lord, they're going to need to have a certain fear of the Lord in order for it to be effective in your spiritual life. So yes, you can get practical advice and that makes sense. Like, hey, how do I wax my car? You know what I mean? Like, yes, practical wisdom or advice or how to do things better. It does matter. In the spiritual life though, we need a little bit more than practical. So what is fear of the Lord? Fear of the Lord basically means that that you're in a good relationship with the Lord and you are in awe of him. And I looked this up in the back of my Bible. And you know what fear is, and most of the times you think fear is like, what's the word? Like you're frightened of something, or you are scared of something. And here, that's not quite what we're talking about. We're talking about being in awe or like in wonderment of a really big, divine, omniscient, like everything being, and putting our minds in that perspective and using that perspective to view the Lord puts us in holy fear of him. All right, so I have Bible for you. Let's do it. Also, I just need y'all to know I cannot see anything. Just need you to know that. I have my glasses, but they produce such an awful glare. I don't want to wear them. All right, here we go. We're going Psalm 111:10. Say amen when you have it. All right, here we go. Verse 10 says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. All who follow his precepts have good understanding. To him belongs eternal praise." Let's look at what precepts mean, because I don't know what precepts mean. Definition. All right. Moral for it as for silver, and search for it as for hidden treasure. Then you will understand. Or just been near a dog. They're constant. They're listening and hearing different things. If you are aware enough in your spiritual life, in your walk with Christ, your ears have got to be like on rotation. Like, where is the wisdom at? Oh, is that? Oh, I think that's it. That's it right there. And so all of to are like precursors to findings without you understanding or without you coming to understand what he's telling you. So yeah, next one, Proverbs 16. I wish it's in really he wants us also to be good, and so through that fear we avoid bad things. Proverbs 15:33. Next one. Can you guys hear people going to bed? 15. Wisdom's instruction is to be in a good relationship with the Lord, is to be in awe of him so that you might avoid evil things. You might avoid missteps. You might avoid certain things. And humility comes for honor. And that's kind of like a theme throughout the Bible. Like before like an ascension or a climb up, you have to humble yourself. You have to be lowly. Is familiar, show it by their good life, by deeds done in humility. Again, humility, here we go. That comes from wisdom. And selfish ambition in your hearts, do not boast about it or deny the truth. So don't wear it as a badge of honor, but also don't. Submissive humility, full of mercy and good fruit, impartial and sincere. So the wisdom that you're getting as it comes to you from the Lord, comes from heavenly wisdom, peace, love, tear to the brim, full of mercy, good fruit, impartial. When you are seeking wisdom from someone, in order to see whether they fear the Lord, not be the case. Like when we found our mentors who discipled us through our unplanned pregnancy, so they still be counseling this now. We were not familiar with them up front, but we had friends who were, and those friends were more than willing to say like, hey, we vouch for them, they have helped us. And at the time I think they were newlyweds, like still under 5 years married, so they were like, look, these are the people that you need. And you need someone to kind of vet that for you, because you won't know if they fear the Lord. Submissive, full of mercy, and that is really what we experience from them. The next thing I want to bring up, I don't have to share it. Exodus 18, and I talk about this in my original video if you'd like to know or see more about this, or more about this story, it's when Jethro kind of reappears in the story of Moses. So essentially, you see Jethro in the beginning of Moses, well, kind of the beginning of Moses' story, where he is helping him out in the wilderness because Moses has fled Egypt. So from there, he employs Moses as a shepherd, and they essentially live and are around and in community with each other for 40 years. Moses marries Jethro's daughter, and they have two sons. In Exodus 18, we get another episode of Jethro's character, and he brings Moses' family back to him into the wilderness after he's helped in his work to deliver the Egyptians. Nope, the Israelites from the Egyptians. And so I like this story, and I've never actually read it in my adulthood. But when I was studying through, I was like, wow, we never really talk about this. But Jethro gave Moses wisdom in the wilderness, and Moses was able to receive it because he was familiar with him. And maybe Jethro didn't necessarily know God or know him long, because the text says that he heard what all the wonders that God did and acknowledged God as a true God. And so maybe his fear of the Lord wasn't very long, but he was still a holy man, a high priest of Midian. So he knew the spiritual life, he knew what it was. And so when he gave Moses the wisdom to set up and delegate, to set up a system of delegation in the wilderness so that Moses didn't have to bear the brunt of every decision, every situation that the Israelites found themselves in, he was able to receive that from Jethro because he had familiarity. I'm done with this F. I just wanted to drive it home. Exodus 18, go read it. It'll give you context. All right, the last F is framing. And I think it's the most important thing that I began to notice, because every time I got wisdom, the person or the people giving me wisdom would encourage me to go talk to God about it. And that is a really, really, I cannot tell y'all how important it is to have people point you back to God, because you get so caught up in the details of whatever you're struggling through or whatever you're trying to persevere through or whatever caught you off guard. It's life. And so to have people who are in your life who are trying to walk the walk and talk the talk of being a believer and a follower of Christ, it is so important to have them point God or point you back to God. So even with practical advice, it's like, hey, this I think you should do. But again, make sure you're reading your Bible, talking to the Lord about it. And even in Exodus 18, verse 19 and 23, in the middle of offering up his observations and advice, Jethro says, if God wills it, or if the Lord says so, here's the advice that I think you should consider. So even in his maybe new faith of God, in God, and the sovereignty of God, Jethro was like, hey, also, I think you should do it this way, but also take it to the Lord. If the Lord says so, then go ahead and do it. But I think you should do this. And so I think that it is so important to have people in your life who are not afraid to tell you, like, maybe you should fast about this, or here's what I think you should study in the Bible to help you understand this more. It is so important because it grows you, and it helps you get off of the milk onto the solid food. It helps you have a deeper knowledge of the Lord. It helps you have more dependency on the Lord and more hope that he would do what he said he was going to do. So yes, those were the three F's: fear, familiarity, and framing. Which brings me to the last part of this video, which is whether or not, how to test whether or not you've gotten good wisdom. And that is by the fruit and how it has progressed through your life. I'll explain. So generally, if wisdom calls for or requires, why do I write this way? Wisdom, generally, if you're given wisdom, it will call, if it's good wisdom, it will call and require you to operate at a different level of self discipline. And that is the number one, the number one way that I believe that you should test the wisdom, right? Like if they're giving you wisdom and you're like, oh man, that's going to be work. I don't know if I want to do that. You're headed in the right direction. Automatically, yes. Immediately, yes. And so, practical advice, as I have said, is good. But if it's keeping you in comfort, or even if it's pushing you back into comfort, I would consider whether or not I would reconsider whether or not that is good wisdom, because I don't know, y'all. If you get good wisdom, or it changes your life, you feel like, oh, I think this is the next step, because it does not look like anything I think I would have wanted to do. And if it's coming from someone who fears the Lord, who has a good relationship with the Lord, someone who is in awe of God, it will most likely challenge you. And that's exactly where you want to be. Um, when we got wisdom from our mentors, and in our season of discipleship with them, a lot of the advice that they gave us, celibacy, don't be in a relationship, because we broke up halfway through the pregnancy, and they were like, don't be in a relationship because this is not the time to figure it out. So you guys have to be celibate. So celibate with each other and other people. Co-parenting, you have to at least learn to get along, because you have a child now, and at minimum, at base level, entry level, you guys have to try to communicate amicably. All of this advice that they gave us to this day, and we were co-parenting and celibate for 2+ years. Then we decided to get married. All of that work that we did to follow their wisdom, all of that, like, the uphill battle that we had trying to stay true to what we felt the Lord had led us into to get back into his will, that fruit is still fresh today. And we have been married for 7 years and we have 2 more kids. Okay. It is still fresh. Like, I can still go to the basket over there and grab the fruit and be like, oh, this has not decayed. There is no mold. There's no maggots. There's nothing, because it has stood the test of time. And just like, where were we? Proverbs? James. The fruit of that, I'm just going to look because I can't. Wisdom that comes from heaven first is pure. So the advice that they gave us to step back and reevaluate, assess what we're really doing, and here's how we think you should navigate, it purified us. It ripped off all the things that were not going to help us, that were not going to keep us in the will of God or put us back into the will of God, and it purified us. So that wisdom, again, we talk about it all the time. Those 2 years were the hardest 2 years probably that we have experienced thus far. And it has proven to bear fruit over and over and over again, because now we're telling other people. Now we're saying, hey, are you considering getting married? Oh, okay. Great. Here's and if they ask, here's what we've learned. Because let me tell you something. Marriage is not easy. And if you walk into it unprepared, help yourselves. So I'm saying all of this to say, and I'm rambling, okay, because I'm just trying to drive home that heavenly wisdom, godly wisdom, will have an impact on your life today, tomorrow, and forevermore. Oh, anyway, this is all I've got, unless somebody has a question. Oh, so many comments. It's my husband. Hi, babe. Not clink clink lockdown. Help you. Oh my gosh. Ramble to us. So I'm so done. I'm finished. I'm so finished. But yeah, I have enjoyed doing these. I have practiced this like 14 times. But yeah, I think I'm just really burdened right now with maybe trying to communicate to millennials and younger, maybe even older too, whoever. Okay, the Lord is for everyone. That if you don't want different and you say you walk with the Lord, it makes me question what Lord you're talking about, because I feel like the Lord requires more of you every time. The deeper you go, he requires more of a sacrifice from you. You know what I mean? Let me see what y'all are saying. What would you say to a single person thinking to get married, but the person is semi-saved? Oh, oh Lord. That's a great question, Mira. That's a fantastic question, because I feel like a lot of people encounter that all the time. I'll tell you this. Just in my motherhood, I just having a human being from the beginning, you really realize how much you cannot change about that person from the beginning. So, can you imagine meeting someone in the middle of your life or the early adulthood of your life and you are convinced that you can change someone? Heaven help us. Okay, heaven help us all. And I have been that girl too. I'm like, it's just, and when he changes, then everything will be okay. Sis, please, no, let's not do that. I think that if the Lord has put something on your heart to pray for this person, that's different. If you are trying to, if you, and maybe it's something that could be a rebuke, like, hey, maybe you shouldn't treat people like this. You know what I mean? Like, okay, but if it's a fundamental, like the Lord is going to have to change his heart about this, you've got to be hands up and back away slowly, because you're not going to be able to change him. You will not be able to change him. Point blank and the period. Let's see what else y'all are saying. Oh, same. I don't know why. Oh, one thing is going slower than the other. But yeah, I semi saved. And what is semi though? What does that mean? Like, what is semi saved to people? Because is it, oh, I believe in God? Or is he like praying? You know what I mean? Yay, I'm excited for next Thursday too. I'm glad you guys came and hopped in. I appreciate the love. Anyway, yes. Again, if you don't want different, this is not the stream for you. Okay. If you do want different and you're truly trying to like draw near to God, good night, girl. Let me tell y'all something. Putting these children to sleep is a task. Okay. Oh, it's only 8:40. She's got time. Never mind. I'm gonna back off my horse, because they be coming to tell you, mommy, I think I scratched something right here. It's nothing there. Anyway, I digress. Thanks for tuning in. If you want different in your life and you're really seeking the Lord, the place to start is seeking wisdom. The place to start is seeking out, finding God's wisdom in your life, in the people around you. And if you don't have people around you, luckily we live in the age of the internet, YouTube University, but I advise your local church. And I say that really hesitantly, because some of these local churches be wild. So, also prayer works well. So if you ask the Lord to lead you, again, he shall. So yes, deeper fear of the Lord, living differently, seek out wisdom, y'all. Also, if you are watching this, guys, just go ahead and like. So somebody might be like, let me check this out. Okay, I'm out of here. See you later. Why do I sing it? I don't know. But see y'all in the next one. Strain number 3. Oh, not pastor, sister, friend. Help. Oh, yes. And come to Gwinnett Church. We love it there.